And welcome back to another episode of Eagles Talk. My name is Brendan D. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. You can also rate the podcast and review the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. It would also be greatly appreciated. We are talking Eagles on the Double Doink Podcast Network. I am joined by my friend, it's been too long, Thomas Petersen. Thomas, how are things? How are we doing?
What's up, Brandon? Everything good? Sore fingers from refreshing Twitter, but yeah.
I think I'm a little obsessed with free agency and just free agency
Yeah.
in sports in general. I think I might have an issue. I might
We should become something like Jaguars fans, so something where there's a ton of cap space every year and a bunch of splash signings. And then when the season actually begins, we can transfer into something else.
So that brings into this point, like before we jump into the Haason Reddick signing, is this the biggest signing the Eagles have made since Alshon Jeffrey? Right? Like just
from a per year?
Like maybe just like impact, like before maybe excitement level in the fan base, if that makes sense. I can't think of.
I mean, he kind of checks off every box, right?
Mm-hmm.
High production, sack guy from Philly or from the Philly area.
Yeah,
I mean, he checks a bunch of boxes. I think he's going to fit really well with the team.
So let's jump into it. The Philadelphia Eagles have made one signing so far. They did some internal signings today. Guys like Nate Herbig was tendered, Greg Ward was signed to a contract, and Andre Chachre. But they've only signed one external free agent so far, and his name is Haason Reddick. They have given him a 3-year, $45 million contract with $30 million guaranteed. Who is Haason Reddick? He's 27 years old. He's going to be 28 when the season starts. He's from Camden, New Jersey. He's an edge rusher, of course. He was banged up his junior and senior year and had to walk on to Temple. And he only weighed 187 pounds, Thomas, ended up weighing 237 by the combine. He worked his ass off to kind of get that right body type for the edge to be an NFL player. And his mom actually took out a loan so he could have the meal plan at Temple and eat with his teammates and have the right diet for him to become an NFL player. So overall, Thomas, sounds like a great story. Sounds like an overall good guy. Give me your.
They got money now too.
Yeah, exactly. They don't need. They can pay off that loan. It's just like it just like you said. It just almost seems like he's got everything going from checks every box. Philly guy, good dude, pass rusher, can affect the team right away. Just give me your kind of overall initial reactions.
So Haason Reddick transferring from off ball inside linebacker to pass rushing outside linebacker is really. It's kind of that Michael Parsons transition, right? That it was kind of a desperation move back when he was with the Cardinals, and he just flat out delivered big time. 10+ sacks, got the 1-year deal with the Panthers, 10+ sacks again. The money checks out. He's in a very respectable 10 to 18 that area, 10 to 15 16 to 18th highest played pass rusher in the NFL. So that is very respectable considering he has the 5th most sacks in the last 2 years.
Yep. Only behind a Myles Garrett, a Trey Hendrickson, a TJ Watt, and an Aaron Donald. That's what do you think? What do you think?
Pretty good company. Yep. So he checked a bunch of boxes, and ever since he's become this full-time pass rusher, that he really took off.
Yeah, you're correct. He is, I believe, the 17th highest paid pass rusher now in the NFL. He's with guys like Carl Lawson, who got basically, it was pretty much the Carl Lawson contract from last offseason. That's pretty much exactly what it was. They mimicked that.
Basically, yeah.
Trey Hendrickson, kind of similar contract. Trey Hendrickson got another year, though. You got the 4-year 60. So, yeah, you nailed it. The money's good. The pass rushing, the transition from off ball to linebacker to edge rusher, I think is very important. He only had 7.5 sacks his first 3 seasons, and then his 4th year in Arizona, they decided to rush him just strictly as a pass rusher. 12.5 sacks, kind of took the world on fire. He kind of killed the Eagles in a game in 2020, if I'm correct, in Arizona, right? I think he caused some ruckus for us.
Yeah, he did. I also think he did when he was with the Panthers.
Yeah, he sacked Jalen Hurts twice this year.
Yeah.
The one, he smoked him. The National Football Post video, he's rocked him.
Yeah. He's been incredibly terrific when he's played against the Eagles. And when they met in 2020, he had 10 pressures, 10 total pressures.
Holy shit! Against the Eagles, just in that game?
Against the Eagles in that game. And then against the Eagles when he was with the Panthers, he had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
So he's. I mean, I guess that's they probably just did some self scouting and they saw, all right, this dude Haason Reddick, we got to get this guy on our team.
I have a question for you. So Arizona's been, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but so Arizona's been kind of like in the hybrid guy. Like you got to say Haason Reddick was a hybrid player, I guess, coming out of the
Yeah.
draft. And then they just took Isaiah Simmons as well, correct? Who's almost kind of a similar prototype. The Eagles traded for Jannard Avery, which is kind of very similar, another hybrid player. Now they just signed Haason Reddick. I think there's something to like teams liking this like hybrid player style. Like, is that the reason? Is that something that caught the Eagles' eye? Like, it just seems like Arizona and Philly are just two examples of teams that have kind of just fell in love with this hybrid defensive player.
Yeah, and you can understand it from a Philly perspective when you played against Cowboys last season here with the transition Michael Petersen had, that if you're not necessarily going to be drafting a guy, a Devin Lloyd or that type of pass rush potential linebacker, then signing Haason Reddick is basically the same thing. A linebacker transitioning to a pass rusher and utilizing speed and explosiveness to get sacks. I mean, I think that kind of checks out.
So I think I don't want to be a homer here, but if I just kind of take a look at the grand scheme of things for just value of a contract to the team, I think this has to be one of the better free agent signings so far, just from just what the day one impact. Haason Reddick has not missed a game yet, and he's missed one game, in his entire NFL career, and that was a stint on the COVID list last year. He's basically been a injury-proof player through his first 5 years in the NFL. He just got $30 million guaranteed, which is not a lot for that position. And if you just kind of take a look at it from the depth chart standpoint here, he replaces a Derek Barnett and Ryan Kerrigan. Okay. Both those guys combined for 2 sacks last year. Combined. Derek Barnett had 2, Kerrigan didn't have 1. Kerrigan played 29% of the snaps. Derek Barnett played 64% of the snaps. Instantly, you slot Haason Reddick in there and replace him with Derek Barnett and Ryan Kerrigan. Your team instantly gets better over a full year sample size. Like this has the makings of a free agent signing that has immediate impact and a long-term impact, and just in general looks like a great another Howie Roseman signing.
He's also just very different from other pass rushers that we've seen from Philly for the last many years. I mean, Josh Sweat is the only guy who really comes close, and even Josh Sweat is built very differently. I mean, he's more massive. He does have more explosive to him than the average defensive end or average pass rusher, but it still isn't on par with what Haason Reddick can bring. I mean, he is extremely explosive, and his get off is unmatched for any Eagles defensive lineman in a long time.
Him and Sweat are different, right? He's a little smaller guy.
So yeah, he's different. I mean, he's not going to wow anyone when he's playing the run, or if he gets stuffed. I mean, I saw him against Cowboys last season. When he's going up against Tyron Smith with those long arms, when he gets locked up, it's sort of over. But I mean, that's not the way he's supposed to win, and he does consistently win with his speed, with his counter moves. So it's not a worry at all. It's just that you're going to see a lot of that. I mean, it's just how it goes.
So over the last 2 years, only 4 other players have had more quarterback hits as well than Haason Reddick. So it's not just the sacks. He provides production across the board. He's getting to the quarterback and he's finishing the job. So you can kind of see from both those stats there. All right, Thomas, here's the big one. Here's the elephant in the room, shall you say, with the Haason Reddick signing. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about how Jonathan Gannon's going to use him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if you take a look at how they used Jannard Avery last year, who was kind of went into that Sam linebacker role that Jonathan Gannon likes and wants to utilize better. Jannard Avery had 76 snaps rushing the passer and had 80 dropbacks into coverage this year. If they try to use Haason Reddick like that, I'm not going to be a happy camper. Haason Reddick needs to rush the passer straight up. That's it.
He's paid to rush the passer.
Yes, and over the last 2 years in Carolina, he had 366 pass rushes, and in Arizona, he rushed a quarterback 408 times. So he needs to be that type of player. He cannot be the Jannard Avery type role that they've been dying to get here in Philly.
No, I mean, they just need to look at his production when he was with the Cardinals. I mean, they tried to have him in coverage a bunch. In 2019, he only rushed the passer 127 times, and he was in pass coverage 347 times. So
I can't be.
and you simply can't go to that. I mean,
No.
it's very clear what he's good at, and you paid him for what he's good at. That is one of those like we talk about sometimes that we don't want Howie interfering. I want Howie to interfere
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that's what it comes down to. I mean, I'm paying this guy as a pass rusher. He is a pass rusher. What are we doing here? If he gets into that Patrick Johnson stand up, dropping with tight ends, give me a break. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have that.
So should I be worried that Jonathan, like, should, as an Eagles fan, like, I know it sucks thinking about it because I'm worried that Jonathan Gannon's not going to use him right, but do you think I should be worried? Do you think there's any way that Gannon kind of goes against Howie Roseman here?
I mean, I think both you and I have a certain feeling about Jonathan Gannon, and we both expressed that very loudly throughout the season, towards the end of the season. So I would be, I think I would be naturally pessimistic from what I've seen from Jonathan Gannon by now, but I think this shouldn't be hard.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is too, I think is, should be make Eagles fans excited is pass rush is one of those positions, and just one of those, I guess one of those free agent signings that teams make that should translate. Like if you sign a free agent pass rusher, you should be able to replicate similar production. Like it's as simple as just go get the quarterback.
Yeah,
right. Like that's all it is. Like it's kind of scheme proof.
Right, and it's not like Carolina and Arizona used a bunch of exotic stunts or blitz packages or something that kind of sprung it open. When Haason Reddick gets sacks, he beats guys.
Yeah. So I think that's it. Do you have anything else on Haason Reddick signing? I think Josh Sweat helps him a lot. I think this is interesting to see how it benefits the rest of the D line.
Right. So right now, the rotation, if Brandon Graham comes back healthy, and you have rotation of Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Haason Reddick, and probably Teron Jackson's going to be in there. I mean, he earned some snaps. I still think we can see a guy go in like a Jermaine Johnson or David Ojabo. I definitely can see them add one of those guys to the mix, simply because BG, when he retires, what is Teron Jackson going to be? Is Josh Sweat going to be projecting like we think? So I still see a way that they're adding to this defensive line, maybe even a Jordan Davis or another defensive tackle.
I think they go out Josh your first round. I don't think this changes anything.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah. No,
it shouldn't change anything.
And Howie, they have 3 first-round picks. Howie's obsessed with the trenches. They don't need line this year. He's going to go D-line. If I see one more mock draft for a defensive lineman in the first round, I'm going to lose it. And they're going to trade a pick too. So let's all remember that. I don't think they're going to take 3 players. I think they take 2. I think they take an edge rusher, and then who knows? But anyways, that's a conversation.
I mean, at this rate, they're going to have to draft either cornerback or safety. They're kind of handcuffing their way into that if they're not going to make moves in the next couple of days.
That leads us into this conversation quickly. I know this is content that could get wiped out as signings could happen pretty quickly, so we'll only spend a couple minutes on it here. But Eagles right now, I've only signed 1 free agent. They have some holes. They still got a fix here. They don't have a starting. Right now, their starting safeties are Marcus Epps and Kayvon Wallace. That is not going to fly in the NFL. They need to at least what do you think they think of Marcus Epps? Do they think Marcus Epps can start at one of these safety spots?
Unfortunately, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how many do you think they sign, 1 or 2 safeties? Because right now it's a thin market, and they could sign 2, but you're probably only going to get 1 impact guy, right?
I think. You kind of figure they have to sign 2, right? Because otherwise,
that's what I thought.
The room is going to be X guy signed in free agency: Marcus Epps, Kayvon Wallace, Jacoby Stevens.
Yeah, that's and they've got 1 other
Andre.
Guy, I believe. Yeah, I think they have Chachere in the website is filled.
They probably like Chachere. He kind of showed up a little bit, but I mean, I guess we kind of saw late in the season that maybe in that week 18 game, wasn't it, against the Cowboys, that the secondary was behind the starters really was terrible.
Yeah, they need depth there.
Also, who's cornerback too? Who's starting opposite Slay? Yeah. Stevie Nelson isn't here. What, Zach McPherson?
I don't they've got some serious secondary issues. I was texting a buddy who's an Eagles fan of mine. Like I said, I'm kind of getting worried here about the safety position. Like I came into the free agency thinking they would sign 2, and they signed 2 caliber starting safeties, not even just like 2 a depth guy and a starter. Like I thought they'd be opening the bag up for a Justin Reed and a Marcus May. Like I thought that's how kind of aggressive they would be at this position, and it's crickets right now. I'm assuming they're going to sign one soon, but again, like the Marcus Epps, like that's why I asked you the question is I don't know if they like how much they like Marcus Epps. It looks like they do. And if you're going to take one, you're getting one in the first round. Like the odds of that guy being able to start are still kind of low, right? So who knows?
Yeah. And also, like, unless you're going to move up for Kyle Hamilton, even that isn't a given. We don't know how early he is going. You can't bank on that. But
No.
I mean, even if he was the job, he would be the guy where he's just a plug and play starter. The other guys in the draft, I mean, sure, probably some of them are worthy of a first round pick, like late first round pick.
Yeah.
Maybe a Daxton from Michigan. But it's just not a good. It's just not a good strategy to handcuff your way into the
And
draft.
it reminds me of the 2020 draft. Sorry, when they handcuffed them into drafting a wide receiver in the first round, they had to take one there at 20.
Yeah.
So
they just took the wrong one. It wasn't because they didn't have any.
That's a great point. Like they were handcuffed and they could have taken Jefferson and it would have been fine. But again, it just I don't know. Again, Howie in the next 24 hours could sign 2. It just as of right now, like I thought Justin Reed was the perfect fit here.
Yeah, he got more than I expected.
Yeah, I would have.
He got paid more.
I thought he was. If you asked me one free agent they would have signed, it would have been Justin Reed. I thought it was almost going to be automatic there. But
yeah, but I think it was kind of interesting to hear Jeff Mosher report that they were very competitive in the Marcus Williams market,
and means Tyrann Mathieu could be in play. He's asking for a ton of money, right? I'm assuming
he's asking for a ton of money. He's not getting more than 14 per. He's probably looking for a 3-year deal.
I thought he was going to get upwards of 15, 16.
I thought so too with Marcus. I mean, he got less than. Did Quandre Diggs get the same as Marcus?
That's 3 or 40, so it's just under 14.
No, it's just under a little bit. Yeah. It's very close.
Okay, so that's
the market has been. What's going on with the wide receiver market too?
Yeah, I don't. I'm kind of out. I'm not too pissed off if they don't sign like a bigger veteran receiver compared to safety, because right now like, Allen Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster left on the board. Russell Gage is gone now.
Yeah,
right?
Zach Pascal is still available.
Yeah, but that's.
I just mean there's a big ass crush there from.
Yeah, I know. Apparently he made the Hungry Dogs slogan. I think.
Oh, really?
Or not? No, is it that? I think it was. He made some sort of slogan that they use. Zach Pascal is like the creator of it, and the Sirianni uses all the time. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Hungry Dogs or Dog Mentality. Dog Mentality. That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Dog Mentality. Apparently, Zach.
Let me give you one here, Brent. What would you rather do? Would you rather sign Allen Robinson for 14, 15 million per year for a 3-year deal, or would you rather sign Tyrann Mathieu for the same?
I think I'd sign Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'd do that as well.
I think safety is just a bigger need right now, and they can take a receiver in the draft. You can find
exactly. You can find a safety of the caliber of Tyrann Mathieu in the draft.
So we'll see how it plays out. Again, like this could all change on a dime, but as of right now, the safety and secondary situation is not looking. It's looking kind of bleak right now. But again, Haason Reddick sign was great. Love the move by Howie. We'll see how the rest. We'll see how the rest of it plays out, and we will be here to probably talk about it. Okay, quickly before we go here, Thomas. Deshaun Watson, it looks like he's not coming to Philly. It looks like the Eagles are completely out on him. So,
I think he's out on the Eagles. I don't think it's the other way around.
That's a good point. So that probably means what would you put the percentage chance at the Jalen Hurts is week 1 starter?
Jalen Hurts is the week 1 starter?
Yeah, I think it's probably close to 100% right now, right?
100%.
Yeah.
He's 100% this season.
They're probably not taking a quarterback in the first round. No,
next week we'll be talking about how Eagles just Nnamdi Asma away into trading for Deshaun Watson, right?
Or they draft. What if they? I just started my draft.
No, fuck that. They're not gonna draft the quarterback. They're simply not gonna do it.
I don't know, man. They're
not gonna do it.
I would not put it. I would not put it at 0%.
They are not drafting a quarterback in the first three rounds of this draft.
You're probably right, but I wouldn't put it past them.
They're doing anything here. they're going to be, like you said, they're going to be trading one of their first round picks this year for a pick next year, or multiple picks next year, because that class is going to be so much better than anything in this year's draft.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. That's probably the way they go, and that's the right way they should go. It's just this team loves quarterbacks. Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are obsessed with the quarterback position. It's been a fault. I don't know if a fault of theirs, but it's just been something that they've had, the Eagles fans had to deal with. Their constant need to upgrade the quarterback position. It was on full example in the 2020 draft when they took Jalen Hurts, right? So what if they took Jalen Hurts with Carson Wentz there? They could take a quarterback behind Jalen Hurts. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. It wouldn't put it past me. I will say this: I don't think there is a good enough quarterback to take. I think Jalen Hurts is probably better prospected of all of them. So. But I don't trust Howie and Jeff. I don't trust Howie and Jeffrey Lurie to not take one. That's basically what I'm saying.
I mean that makes sense. And I mean, surprised is one thing. I wouldn't be surprised because we've seen more stupid things happen. But I think I would be surprised. You have CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. I mean, you have some really good guys coming out in next year's draft.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why it would be stacking mediocre quarterbacks just for to go out and, let's say this team is not going to be top 10, picking top 10 this year. I don't think so. I think they're better than that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to move up significantly if they want to get their guy. They're going to need every single capital that they can get. I mean, they're going to be trading multiple first round picks for years to come if they want to get up and get that guy. So there's no reason that you wouldn't just, I mean, I guess for me the only real mentality for this, if you're the Eagles, if you're not going to go get Deshaun Watson, is you build as good a team as possible so that you can plug and play a rookie that you significantly spend on next year, e.g. like Carson Wentz, like moving up to second overall pick to get your guy, or maybe even first, I don't know. And then you're putting him into a situation with a good team around him already. And then you kind of you have a few years where you don't have first or second round picks.
So I am worried. My worry is more that they're going to fall in love with the guy in this draft and take him. Like that's where I'm worried at. Like
who is there to fall in love with?
Malik Willis? I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't know. But look, they have 3 first round picks. So if they let's go theoretically, if they did fall in love with a guy they could go get him kind of wherever he is on the draft board theoretically. And like again, they just love that quarterback position. Like I don't trust Howie Roseman to not fall in love with Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis. I'm not saying I have a feeling he's going to happen. It's just there's like this little bug inside me just continue to whisper to me, Brendan, this could still happen. And I don't know. And I will say this: I started watching draft prospects last week. I haven't dove too much into it. Free agency kind of got in the way, but I'm starting with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I like
who you got a crash on.
I've kind of like Kenny Pickett. I'm kind of falling for him a little bit.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised by watching Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. Okay, I have not got to him yet. I've
watched a little bit.
I did
Malik Willis. He's got an arm. His release.
He's short, isn't he?
He's short.
Yeah. How tall is he? He's 6'1", 6 foot, something like that.
He looks. He reminded me. It's funny because when I watched him, Broncos had just traded for Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And I was watching him, and I was thinking, this guy, I mean, trigger happy for the run game, has a very good deep ball, quick release.
Gotcha.
Could he be a poor man's version for Russell Wilson?
Could Howie Roseman fall in love with him?
Nah.
I don't know.
He wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, anyways.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, look, so basically, it looks like Jalen Hurts is probably going to be the star, which I think was the right move. It's a move we were calling for before the year. We said the most likely outcome and probably the best outcome for this team is to transition with Jalen Hurts, a quarterback for 2022, go from there and see what happens. So it looks like that's the plan that they're going to be going with. Quickly, one last thing before we go. If you are a betting man, we talked about this. I'm a betting man. I'm a degenerate betting man. If you were to put money right now on Doug Petersen to last over 2.5 years or under 2.5 years in Jacksonville, where would you place your money?
I think I'd say over, simply from the perspective. I mean, what does he have to win? 4 games to be the 4th most winning head coach in Jaguars history, isn't it?
The Jaguars have six or more wins in only one season in the last 11 years. That is outstanding.
So let's just say he goes out, wins 4 games this year, 8 games next year, 6 games next year.
Okay,
that's progress.
That is
from a Jaguar standpoint, it's significant progress.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm taking the over.
Okay.
Because bad is probably better.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right about the progress thing. 100%. Like you look at the Arizona Cardinals, like Cliff Kingsbury still has a job. The theory is because they got better.
Do you have a bet on that? Like, is that a bet?
No, this is a hypothetical bet. I was just thinking of because like right now, like they are not all in, but they have put pieces around. Like it's kind of like a test to Doug P. Like we've got these guys for you. If you're manager Trent Baalke, who's awful general manager, can't believe the guy still has a job. But like from his standpoint, you're thinking, I just gave Doug Petersen these weapons. Let's see what he can do with it. If he fails over a 25, 26 game sample size with these free agents and Trevor Lawrence, I don't know.
Also, Christian Kirk owes something to Devontae Adams because he just set his market.
They ruined the whole wide receiver market. It's Trent Baalke just took a nuke or took a grenade, took out the pin and just hucked in the wide receiver market and says, have fun with this NFL.
I mean, it's the perfect example of a good player being paid like an elite player. It's beyond that.
Alrighty, that's all she wrote. That will conclude today's episode of Eagles Talk. Thomas, thanks so much for joining on. We should you want to do another episode maybe early next week when the Eagles maybe finally make some.
Let's do it on the next signing. Let's just do it. Let's see when the Eagles sign someone else, and we'll see if there's someone we want to talk about.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. A whole free agency preview will be up tomorrow on the Double Doink podcast. We'll be talking every single signing, and we will talk to you later.